One thing I know for sure.
And then former champ Jimmy Vasser bagged his last win on the high banks of Fontana in 2002. Now, can Bourdais hold off Hunter Ray, Vasser, and the rest of the stars as he continues a championship charge? We'll find out. Round 12 of the Champ Car World Series. The Bridgestone Las Vegas 400 is next. Las Vegas is truly the city that never sleeps. Glitter Gulch, some call it. It's been the site of some memorable heavyweight championship bouts over the years, and tonight we may see a heavyweight title fight of another sort, staged on the mile-and-a-half high banks of Las Vegas Motor Speedway. A full moon will greet the Champ Car World Series stars when we put this one under green in just a couple of moments, and you never know what can happen under a full moon at a racetrack. And welcome to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Time for the 12th round of the Champ Car World Series here in 2004. Good to have you with us tonight. I'm Rick Benjamin. Quite a battle during qualifying. It's been a very interesting weekend. And for the first time this season, a high-banked racetrack, an oval track event, only the second one of the year for these cars and drivers. The season championship battle couldn't be hotter. Sebastian Bourdais, we thought, was headed to a title with no problem at all. He's had problems the last several weeks. Bruno Junqueira, his teammate, now just 24 points behind with 3 races to go in the season. And I'm joined topside by Trans Am champion Tommy Kendall. It's been an entertaining year, and Las Vegas certainly a unique place to come to race.
Well, you know the saying about Las Vegas, what happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. Well, in racing terms, what happens in Vegas doesn't happen anywhere else. This is the only time the Champ cars run under these basically restricted rules where the speeds are capped, and it leads to pack racing. The cars should be all over each other. The best analogy I can use would be that when they're in a pack like that, they behave differently. It's almost like electrons that are excited. They literally vibrate, and it makes for some very tense moments. One guy that I think may be best able to capitalize on the ovals, the pack racing, and here in Las Vegas is none other than the leader of the off-track Rat Pack here in Vegas, Jimmy Vasser.
Vasser starts on the outside of row 1. Let's show you our starting lineup tonight, powered by Ford. Patrick Carpentier, after his win, now on the pole.
Yeah, he's really got a knack when it's contract time. He really delivers.
Vasser alongside the Newman Haas mates in row 2.
Well, there's the championship battle right there. Bourdais needs to get back on track.
Third row, Jourdain with a good run, and Levine.
Another top 5 for Jourdain and Rodolfo Levine. Again, good speed out of the Forsythe car.
And an All-American row 4.
And Allmendinger has not really taken the ovals, but he did really well in Milwaukee.
Fifth row, Dominguez is good on him.
And Dominguez really pressured Bourdais in Germany last year on the oval.
Paul Tracy and Tagliani have struggled.
2 Las Vegas residents like racing at home, but the results haven't been good thus far.
Philippe and Smith not too bad in the 7th row.
Career best, equaling career best starting spots for both those drivers.
The 8th row, Justin Wilson still struggling.
Yeah, their season's kind of heading the wrong way for them.
Mazzacati alongside. Final row, Haberfeld in Serbia didn't even post a speed. What happened?
Well, they've been chasing this weird fuel starvation problem for 3 or 4 races, and they didn't get the car out in time to take a lap at qualifying.
As we take a look at our race facts here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, it's 250 miles, 400 kilometers for the Bridgestone 400. 166 laps will be the race distance then here. It is a mile-and-a-half super speedway, and the pit windows are back, Tom.
The return of the pit windows, they figured that was the best way to make sure you got away from a fuel economy run, and so they're kind of a necessary evil. Until they can make sure that there's wholesale passing with faster cars, they have those mandatory pit windows.
A couple of different in-car looks for you tonight. We'll ride with series champion Paul Tracy tonight. Tracy starts pretty deep in the field.
He starts deep in the field, but more troubling is the fact that the car just hasn't been very fast, and they've been scratching their heads. It's the setups and everything are identical to both Carpentier and Rodolfo Levine, but the car is just, for whatever reason, there's a lot of bind in the corners.
Getting the cars freed up is one of the things you must do at a place like this. Rodolfo Levine, we mentioned he qualified in the top 6.
Top 6, another good run for him, and this is where it's not restrictor plate racing, but the restricted speeds because of the high downforce levels mean that whether you got experience or not, the guys like Rodolfo are running right up front.
One guy everyone is going to pay attention to tonight, Jimmy Vasser from the outside pole. The Gulfstream Lola, we have onboard looks with Vasser. His last victory 2 years ago at the California Speedway in Fontana. Now, this is the second half of a racing doubleheader here at Las Vegas on a Saturday night. NASCAR's Craftsman Truck Series raced here earlier, and that presents a unique problem for the Champ Car World Series competitors, right, Chris McClure?
Well, at least a concern, because with all that practice and qualifying earlier today, the Champ Car people were wondering, would the Bridgestones react with the other brand of tire okay on the track? Well, through the warm-up, everybody said okay. okay. Maybe a little bit more push, but nothing that was not manageable. But now the sun has gone down. It's cooled off, and there are about 7,000 more laps of truck traffic out there. So what does that mean for this race? Everybody thinks it should be okay, but nobody really knows the answer. We'll find out in just a moment. Meantime, with another kind of problem, Jan Bikus.
Yes, Chris, think about Sebastian Bourdais. Yes, he has qualified third, but it's been anything but a routine weekend for Sebastian. Last night in night practice, he blew an engine. The team stayed late. They changed the engine. They checked all the systems, could not find the cause. Then today in final practice, he blew another engine. The team went back again, checked the car, checked the systems, but had to change to another power plant, the third one of the weekend. They have no idea as a brand new engine how it'll run, so some nervous moments for the Newman Haas crew and our series point leader.
Well, Bourdais qualifying in the top 3 again for the 12th time, extending his record. Paul Tracy quickly to pit road. A wheel problem. They're concerned about the left rear. He's going to have to start from the back, Tommy.
Well, a bad weekend gets worse.
See what they're doing here. We have a helmet cam on one of the crew members in the Index Forsyth team. Rusty Sheldon wearing that camera for us here tonight. Taking a look at the right rear. They've changed that as well, and Tracy will smoke him off of pit road. Tom, you were talking about the restrictions on the cars. Their goal, Champ Car's goal, to keep the speeds down around 203, 205 in the miles an hour bracket. The wing package is really the story here.
Yeah, they're basically running road course downforce setup, so just a lot more downforce than they would need if they were allowed to come here and set it up how they'd like.
Getting ready to go green. 166 laps, 400 kilometers. The Bridgestone 400 at Las Vegas. Glad to have you with us tonight. We are underway at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Headed back to pit road. Patrick Carpentier is the early leader. Jan Bikus, he's headed your way.
Yes, for Paul Tracy, they say there is no drive to the rear wheels, whether that means a clutch, a differential, but certainly when he left the pit box after changing a tire, that was not the problem. They will check the back of the car, but certainly a huge problem for the Las Vegas resident right off the green.
Series champion Paul Tracy sees his chances of victory go up in some sort of smoke.
It looked funny when he took off. There was no big burnout leaving the pits.
Carpentier is the leader. Junqueira in second spot. Bourdais is third. Vasser dropped back to fourth. Rodolfo Levine picks up a spot to sixth. And here comes Oriol Serbia. Serbia started at the back of the pack. He's eighth already. As we ride with Levine down the backstretch. Tommy, how about your Bridgestone keys to the race?
Well, the red pack, that's the pack racing I was talking about, where the guys with the extra drag should run close together. Drag queens, no one wants to be a drag queen. Everyone wants to be the drag king. Namely, the challenge has been trimming the cars out, getting as much drag off the cars as they could so they can, have the top speed around here. And if push comes to shove, with the low downforce numbers, the problem they were having in practice was the front of the cars were sliding a lot. And there was concern amongst the teams that the right front tire might not maintain its grip all the way through a fuel stint. The teams were starting to put more downforce on the front to try to balance out the rear wing.
Riding with Levine in the Corona Beer car, fifth spot. Tracy, who started in the top 6 tonight, he's out of the race car already. His evening is done. So the series champion in front of his adopted hometown fans, his night very, very short. His teammate Patrick Carpentier going for his second straight win, the leader. But the Newman Haas mates right behind him in second and third. Bourdais in third spot, Junqueira in second, chasing down Carpentier, or trying to. Tight battle for the lead. Quickly, let's hear from Tracy, Jan Bikus.
Paul, the car didn't sound right when you left pit road. Do you have any idea what the problem is?
I don't know. We've had such a horrible weekend. We've changed everything on the car, tried to make the car better, and then as soon as we pulled away on the pace lap, we only had drive to one wheel. So something in the spool or something in the drive shaft, something broke. So it's not driving. So and it's just unbelievable frustration this weekend.
I know you were very excited about racing in your hometown of Vegas. I know you didn't get a chance to do it, but it should be a great place and a great race this evening.
I think it's going to be a great race. I wish I was out there. Like I said, we've had a horrible weekend this weekend, and I feel bad for the guys because we've changed everything you could change all weekend long, and we've just had nothing go right the whole weekend. So it's been frustrating.
Okay, hope it goes better in Australia.
Lead change on lap 6. Bruno Junqueira to the bottom, able to sneak by Patrick Carpentier. Carpentier using a high line, Tom trying to stay with him.
Yeah, and Bruno picks up a bonus point, which will help him in that pursuit. 23 points now behind Sebastian Bourdais. Carpentier has been a rocket ship all weekend long, just adding to the frustration for Tracy. You know, it'd be one thing if they felt like they just didn't have much speed, but every time he'd come in, they'd look at Pat's car, they'd look at Paul's car, and look at that. As soon as Bruno goes around him, Pat's trying to come back, wants to lead those laps, and that's a sign of a guy who feels like he has a lot of confidence in his car.
Wildly different racing lines being used by the top two. Drafting is Carpentier. He swings up high as they dive into 3. Junqueira picks up the bonus point for leading a lap here in the early going. Carpentier through the tri-oval, trying to come back on the high side. I'm surprised Junqueira's making this work at the bottom all the way around.
Well, what that's all about is shortest distance. Because the cars aren't on their limit traction-wise, where you would usually drift all the way up to the wall, he's just trying to cover as short a distance as possible, and the blocking that now has been really cracked down on in Champ Car, really that started a year ago at Euro Speedway in Germany, and they penalized Sebastian Bourdais during the race for blocking, and then and after that they really re-implemented stricter rules. So there's a lot of, you want to protect the bottom, but you also have to be careful not to move to defend your position.
Out in front, Bruno Junqueira in the 6th car, the Pacific Air Newman Haas machine. Carpentier, the blue and white Indec car, runs 2nd. Bourdais, Levine, and Ryan Hunter-Reay, your first 5 at Vegas. Working lap 18 of 166 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway with Tommy Kendall, I'm Rick Benjamin, Jan Beekes, and Chris McClure on pit road for us tonight. 12th race of the Champ Car World Series season here in 2004. Carpentier on the pole tonight in that Indec number 7. Junqueira grabbed the lead right off the start, pretty much just a lap into the books, and they've been side by side for much of the night so far. Sebastian Bourdais, the championship leader, rides 3rd right behind these two. Jan Beekes, Bourdais' 3rd motor of the weekend, seems to be working okay.
Well, they say 3rd time lucky. They're very pleased with the power plant. They say everything is going well. But for Sebastian, believe it or not, Tommy, they say his car is loose. We've heard a lot about push, push, push. But for Sebastian, he wants the thing to be nailed more at the back end or take some wing out of the front in his first pit stop.
And loose is the last thing you want on an oval. When it doesn't matter who you are, the oval meisters of days gone by, Rick Mears, whatever, when they had a loose race car, they would head to the back like a stone. The good news is you have a chance to adjust on it, but that's a little, and Sebastian can actually do some adjusting inside the car. They have a weight jacker, which is a little collar that sits under one of the springs, and he's able to jack a little bit of diagonal weight in. The only problem might be if they were concerned about push, they might have set the range of that to deal with push, and they're out of range the other way with loose. So be interesting to see what kind of changes they make on the stop.
Well, in the last couple of laps, lap traffic has allowed Junqueira to open up the lead over Carpentier to 0.4 of a second after 10 laps or so where they ran side by side. Now Carpentier gets the chance to put his car down on the bottom and see if he can track down the leader. They're a little bit ahead. You can see the 3rd place car, Bourdais, about 6 car lengths further back, and Bourdais is able to stay in touch with the 2 leaders, hasn't been able to get up and challenge him. Now we are in Las Vegas as the leaders lap by Mario Haberfeld on the backstretch. What about the odds? You can go to a sports book here in town, get some money down on your favorite driver. Let's show you the odds on some of these guys tonight. Junqueira and Bourdais were the favorites. Tracy's off already, so anybody who thought Tracy was the guy to place a few quid on tonight certainly has been disappointed. I kind of like Jimmy Vasser, but he's struggled so far.
Well, I was going to say, I think the odds changed again last night after Jimmy sat on the front row. I think these are the odds. That would be nice to have put some money down on Jimmy before he's put that car in the front row.
Riding with Rodolfo Levine, the Corona beer car out of the Forsyth stables. Levine up in 4th spot, but he hasn't been able to get too close to the leaders. He's now 4 seconds back. He's got his mirrors full. Ryan Hunter-Reay, who dominated at Milwaukee. Hunter-Reay led all the laps at Milwaukee back in June. He goes to the inside. He wants 4th spot. But Levine is able to stay ahead by reusing that high groove.
You see how much Hunter-Reay's car, when Rodolfo cut down in front of him and sprayed that jet wash over the front of, car wash over the front of Ryan Hunter-Reay's car. And he said that was something they talked about in the driver's meeting. He said if guys don't respect the invisible lanes and use their qualifying line, when the car in front slides down in front, he says it really disrupts the airflow, and that's where that understeer gets dramatic.
All that battling back behind the leader allows Junqueira to open it up even more. He's now 6/10 to the good ahead of Carpentier. And we've seen Paul Newman many times on pit road this year. He's got a special guest tonight. How about Bruce Willis joining us here tonight? All up in the pit box and the timing stand, watching the Newman Haas boys go at it up front. Good to have Bruno here as well as Junqueira. Bruno on the racetrack. Dominant here in the last 10 or so laps. 25 complete of 166 tonight. Your Ford running order, top of the screen, lap times included there. Carpentier with a very quick lap last time, trying to chop the lead down. He's 6/10 back of your leader, Junqueira. Bruno Junqueira, the winner at Montreal, his first victory of the season several weeks ago. Got him back into the hunt in the championship chase. Mazzacani and Tracy out at the back of the field here. So it's Junqueira leading Carpentier and Bourdais. Levine and Ryan Hunter-Reay, the top 5. His teammate Mario Dominguez is 6th. Vassar, Tagliani, and Jourdain. Top 10, Justin Wilson rounds it out.
And all of a sudden, as soon as he pulls out into the airstream, the clean air.
Today's coverage of the
That rear wing acts kind of like a parachute.
Is being now check the lap counter. Working lap 33. We're 4 laps away from mandatory pit stops. Looks like they'll come under green, so that could shuffle the deck here. Junqueira is your leader. Carpentier and Bourdais running 2nd and 3rd. Las Vegas Motor Speedway, coverage of the Champ Car World Series, 12th race of 2004. Very close to the first mandatory pit stop. That'll be a very busy place here in just a couple of laps.
And what that means is every car in the field is going to be headed for pit lane at the end of lap 37. So the deceleration, the late braking to the 85-mile-an-hour speed limit and the actual time spent at rest in the pits going to be even more important than usual. The fact that guys are not able to get around people easily on the racetrack means that the pit crews might be the ones that decide this one today.
7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th battling here as we watch Alex Tagliani still holding off A.J. Allmendinger. Pit stops coming up, Jan Bikas. What are you hearing?
Well, our leader will be in about a lap or so, but before they grab the fuel rig, take a look at what you can see at the nighttime. The fueler actually has LEDs that ramp up to tell him right now that's the full position. It'll start all the way down here on the right-hand side and then ramp up. So at night, the fueler, when he engages, will be shown electronically by LEDs when to disengage from the car. That'll happen the next time around for Bruno Junqueira.
A.J. Allmendinger, meantime, just picked up a spot. He moved the 10 car into 8th for the Rousport team. That's the Western Union Lola. Tagliani 9th, Jourdain 10th, Justin Wilson right there in 11th spot. So a great battle. 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Very tight on the racetrack. 12th spot belongs now to Guy Smith, who's running very nicely. He's got some oval track experience in his earlier Indy Lights days, of course. Field starting to spread out just a little bit on lap 37, so we should see the leaders on pit road, and they're on the brakes, and Levine almost gets into the back of Ryan Hunter-Reay. Bruno Junqueira will lead him onto pit road. Carpentier running 2nd, first of 4 mandatory stops tonight. Jan Bikas, the leader, is headed your way.
Yes, and as we predicted, a whole host of cars will be here at the same time, including his teammates. So we will have a bird's eye view if there is, in fact, going to be a position change. If you want to pick up a position, you would use that LED device that we just talked about to take a little less fuel on. And we're watching the 2 cars side by side. Bruno launches first, gets by Sebastian, so he has kept his position. It appears as though Sebastian Bourdais is having a very long stop. Something's not right with the fuel. It's not going in. Sebastian Bourdais lost a tremendous amount of time on pit road.
Tough break for the points leader. You might see the yellow in the top left of your screen with the lap count. Full course yellow because Ryan Hunter-Reay has spun his Urdez number 4. Now that's on the entrance road, I believe, coming toward pit road. Hunter-Reay almost got drilled in the back gearbox area back there by Rodolfo Levine. I wonder if there was contact. Let's see if we can see what happened as they were headed toward pit road.
It's already happened at that point.
I'll bet you that Levine, there was contact. It looked like Levine at first, and then I'm not so sure if that was Levine's car. Ryan Hunter-Reay spun and ended up tail first into the inside return here at Las Vegas. So we are under caution while they recover the 4 car and try to get him to pit road. He needs to stop, and they need to refire the car. So Hunter-Reay will lose a couple of laps here.
Well, and he might have some damage to the rear wing as well.
Towing him in, and the tow rope goes away. He gets it refired. Don't know that he touched very hard there. It doesn't look as though there's Tremendous amount of wing damage. Dirtied up the tires, certainly. They do have a new wing ready to go on the 4 car. Under caution, Alex Tagliani off pit road first, so it looks like he'll be the restart leader. Junqueira, Carpentier, Levine, and Vassar would be the top 5. Looks as though Tagliani didn't come to pit road, so I wonder if there will be a penalty there. And it looks like that's Tagliani's car. We'll try to get another look at that. There's the work going on the 4. Jimmy Vassar here on board as he was coming down toward pit road. Green lights are still on at this point, and there you see Hunter Ray just going around. So they've brought the 4 car to a stop, Chris McClure.
And they're going to change the entire rear wing. The end plates have been damaged. No, they've decided to go ahead and go back out without making that change. He did get full service. He reported that he had a long brake pedal when he got into the entry road and just spun it. There was damage to the back. They want to change that wing, but they can't get it done now. They're trying to save some track position. Jan Beekes.
Well, Chris, we talked about the long pit stop for Sebastian Bourdais. Here's what happened. This is called the dead man valve. You squeeze this and you pull it down. It's named that if there ever was a fire and you let go of it, it would shut off the fuel flow. For some reason, this valve did not open properly, so at the beginning of Sebastian Bourdais' pit stop, the fuel was not flowing. That's why now he's way back in the pack. But this is a track he could work in the draft and work back to the front.
We were saying that Alex Tagliani had looked as though he would come off pit road first to be the restart leader, but he is not at the head of the field right now, as the cars that were up front earlier, Bruno Junqueira, Patrick Carpentier, are right behind the safety car and look as though they will lead the field to green as we're working on lap 42. Bruno Junqueira with a good night going so far. Bourdais will line up in 6th position after that problem with the fuel rig. Levine and Vassar round out the top 5. As always, all the information you need about the Champ Car World Series from our website, champcarworldseries.com. Sign up for Race Director. Gets you very, very close to what goes on at the racetrack. 6 extra cameras, all 18 pit-to-car radios, and you can sign up for the Inner Circle Fan Club with ticket discounts and giveaway items, and an exclusive cap that's been designed for members of the Inner Circle. At the racetrack, the Inner Circle group meets each week. Drivers come and talk and visit, and it's a great way to get even closer to your favorite drivers in the Champ Car World Series. All from our website, champcarworldseries.com. More activity on pit road. Oriol Servia, who had problems in practice, didn't turn a lap in qualifying, was marching up through the field. Late stop for the Dale Coyne team and the YokeTV.com car. Ryan Hunter-Reay back on pit road with the 4.
And this is what we used to see when we had the pit windows every weekend. At the tail end of a yellow, you have what Oriol Servia's Dale Coyne team did there is they brought him in, topped him up, so he will be able to go about two laps further than the other leaders. Because you go a lap down on any pit stop here, he is praying, like if you had this situation here where the yellow came out as they were coming in, if it happened a lap later, Servia would be on his own lap and would effectively, like Tagliani at Elkhart Lake, almost be handed the race win.
A lot of confusion about the caution flag and what's happened on pit road. Chris McClure, what's the situation down there?
Well, several things. Let me bring you up to date. First of all, Servia came in. That was his second stop. Earlier on, they gave him a lot of front wing. As you guys reported, he had marched quickly to 9th place, then started dropping like a stone. Well, he developed a huge push. It was a diabolical car. They're trying to straighten that out. Ryan Hunter-Reay's been back in. They got the back wing. I talked to Rob Edwards from the Derek Walker team about Haberfeld. I said, what was the deal there? And he said, we just had some confusion about whether the pits should be closed or not. I said, did it cost you anything on the track? He said, no, it was just the principle. They have concluded their conversation. Derek Walker, by the way, the team owner, is upstairs spotting for Haberfeld tonight.
Spotter's very key at a place like Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where it is so fast around here. Race pace for these cars right around 201, 202 miles an hour. They're capable of even more speed, but Champ Car World Series officials placing safety first wanted to make sure that the first race here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway would be very safe for all concerned. The fans certainly treated to a great show here tonight, and a full house of fans on hand to watch the action in the Bridgestone 400. Watching Ryan Hunter-Reay back up on the racetrack. Alex Tagliani still shown at the top of the leaderboard, and we're being told that Tagliani will be penalized as they come to the green, that he'll be waved by the safety car and will rejoin the pack at the back. And it looks as though Junqueira will be the restart leader with that ruling by Champ Car World Series officials. I saw Tagliani on pit road, so I'm wondering if maybe he pitted outside the 37 lap mark. It does show that he pitted on lap 38, so perhaps that's the situation. He didn't come in when he needed to when the rest of the field stopped. Working lap 46, still under caution, looking for a restart. The lights still on the pace car, on the safety car, so we're not quite ready to restart as yet.
Well, what they've done is they've waved everybody but Tagliani around now, and so they're waiting for the pack to catch back up. So they've reordered the field that reflects Tagliani as the race leader.
So Tagliani.
Oh, okay. You know what? Because he didn't stop, he is the race leader, but then they're going to penalize him, I think, as soon as they go green.
That's the word that we're getting from Champ Car World Series officials, because he did not pit at the correct time. Roberto Gonzalez has certainly had an interesting weekend, running 12th right now in the warm-up. The final practice earlier tonight, Tom, he scared everybody coming off turn 2. Let's take a look at what happened here.
I talked to him this evening, and there was a little confusion because the pop-off valve was torn off the engine, and so it led to us speculating that the engine had caused that spin. He said it was not the case. The car had been really loose. They had tightened it up, and then it got too tight, and it led to what you call push loose, which means the front slides so much when it eventually catches, it brings the rear around, and then as he was coming to a stop, the right rear tire blew out, tore up the whole bodywork. That is what tore the pop-off valve off the top of the engine. So I said, how bad was that? And he was a little nonchalant. I asked him if he had to change his long johns. He said, no, it wasn't that bad.
Well, I'm sure they had to put some new bodywork on the right side. The side pod covering, at least, was damaged by the tire as it came apart as well. But Gonzalez back on the racetrack, qualified pretty well, running in 12th spot right now here, just a few seconds behind the leaders as we get set for the restart. Lap 47. Being worked right now. And an interesting situation starting to develop for the Johnson Controls team. The Rocket Sports bunch. Dispute between the Champ Car World Series officials and team owner Paul Gentilozzi, who's saying his driver is in the lead, and they're not going to accept the penalty, evidently. Chris McClure, what are you hearing down there?
Well, I came over to Paul Gentilozzi and I said, what's going on? And he said, what'd you say?
We're leading the race.
Yeah, why?
Well, because we're the only one that paid attention to the rule. The rule said when the yellow comes out, pits are closed. A bunch of guys had committed, so that created a problem. I think they probably should have just done a drive-through and gotten back in line. We stayed out, waited until it was appropriate. That's why we're leading the race.
Okay, there you have it.
We will see how it plays out. He's still being shown at the top of the leaderboard. Strategy may well into this again here tonight. A very quickly run race, very rapid lap time. John Beekes, what do you hear?
Well, I think the case in point is that they were going to close the pits if there was a yellow, but I think the case that they are disputing is, were the pits closed? So Paul Gentilozzi is correct that if the pits were closed, therefore he has a case. But if for some reason they did not do what they were expected to, and that is getting the yellow light on and closing the pit lane, then of course he would be afoul of the rules. Also consider that this is the first time they've run a long time under caution. This would be the time you might be concerned about the Craftsman truck rubber that's on the racetrack that could get picked up on these Bridgestones.
Lights out. Pace car is in. Green flag about to come out here as we begin lap number 48. Tagliani leads about a turn 4 and cruises to a big advantage as they come to the line. And no start. Champ Car officials, J.R. Wilbur in the flag stand, saying that is not a good enough lineup, boys. We're going to throw the yellow and line you back up. So Tagliani will be out in front at the moment, but we'll see if any further penalties or any penalties might be assessed. Rodolfo Levine will restart from 4th spot. So it's Tagliani, Junkera, Carpentier, Levine, and Vassar, for now at least, the top 5.
Well, this is very interesting, the way this rule is interpreted. So if the rule says, if they were explained that the pits will close the minute the yellow comes out, I take that as you don't need to see the sign. If that's an automatic, that the error is just the guy didn't get the sign out if it goes yellow. If that's the case, they've kind of, like Paul Gentilozzi said, snookered them.
Still no start. Yellow lights stay on. And the call is that Tagliani jumped the restart a second time. Now, Tommy, would a penalty be called in a situation like that?
Yeah, if he's going before the acceleration points, they could call a penalty. So maybe they're like, okay, this is interesting.
Champ Car officials and team owner Paul Gentilozzi chatting on pit road, out of the pit stall.
You hear the officials saying, you can't accelerate before that cone.
I didn't see anybody throw the red hanky on the sideline, so I don't know if we'll see an instant replay or not. Here comes Tagliani again. Let's see if we get the restart this time on lap 50. Tagliani, Junqueira, Carpentier. And the green flag is out. Third time the charm. Battle shaping up for second. Serbia not on the lead lap in the midst of that one. Haberfeld not on the lead lap.
And what this interpretation of the rules by Rocket Sports has done, not only did it give them the lead, it now gives them a 2-lap advantage because of the fuel window. If you add 37 laps to the lap 39 they pitted on, they can go to lap 76, and then everybody else has to stop on lap 74. So they've got an advantage on top of an advantage. If a yellow comes out, everybody else will be a full lap behind them. If a yellow comes out during those 2 laps. At the worst case scenario, at the best case scenario, they're running 2 more laps on hot tires and probably will be able to sneak away from someone who might even be right on their tail when the pit stop starts.
So a long caution, finally the restart, battling through the field. Let's reset for you as Carpentier starts marching back toward the front. That's Tagliani. And that's Ryan Hunter-Reay up on the high side there. Now remember, Hunter-Reay spun. He lost 2 laps. He's back in 17th spot. Tagliani being shown as the leader, working lap 53, and here comes Junqueira. Junqueira second right now in the 6 car. He's going to hook up behind Hunter-Reay and go for the lead through the trial. Hunter-Reay unlaps himself, one time anyway. Tagliani right back at him, says, no, you don't. Tagliani knows that in this situation you could unlap yourself. He wants to defend.
And watch right here is on the last lap, the car below. One thing that was happening in practice, the car that was below, when the car comes around on the outside, the car on the bottom gets pulled up into its side pod. It didn't happen on that lap, but the lap before, right as they were coming off 4, you saw Tagliani make, it looked like he made a move up towards Hunter-Reay. What's happening is the air is forcing him there, and he's got the wheels turning, and they're just not gripping.
Carpentier, Serbia trying to get unlapped. Here comes Levine. Levine in 3rd spot in the Corona Beer 3 car. Through the tryover. Wild action at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. First time for the champ cars here. Junqueira moves up. Levine almost runs out of track. Tagliani is still the leader. Hunter-Reay trying to get around him and pick up a lap.
And this is the kind of racing they envisioned when they came up with this aero package. It wasn't looking like it was going to happen there in that first stint. But now, for whatever reason, because those 2 cars got side by side up front, everybody else is able to close on them.
Remember that Ryan Hunter-Reay led all the way on the only other oval on the tour back at the Milwaukee Mile. Flat track. This track has got medium to high banking, more than 12 degrees in the corners. Flat out all the way around. Bourdais on the high side, going around Levine. Bourdais to 3rd spot.
Bourdais looking to make it 3 wide.
He's in 2nd now, and he wants the lead. He's gotten by his teammate Junqueira. Bourdais and Tagliani for the top spot. Ryan Hunter-Reay is in the mix. He's not on the lead lap, though. Hunter-Reay gets around to pick up one of his 2 laps, and here comes Bourdais. Sebastian Bourdais, the championship leader, going for the lead down the backstretch.
And this is why this type of racing is so tense. When you have everybody running all over the top of each other, and the cars are so stuck, you end up being braver. Usually what limits whether you make this move or not is, can I hold the car down? Is the car going to stick? Because everybody's car is sticking because of the extra downforce. Guys just get braver and braver.
Working toward lap 60 tonight, Bourdais is the leader. Hunter-Reay's unlapped himself. Levine wants 2nd from Tagliani. Mario Dominguez in the thick of things. He's back and forth. Let's ride with Levine. You can hear they've got the throttle all the way to the mat here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Great action tonight. The Champ Car World Series at Las Vegas. First time ever on the high banks. 60 laps complete. Bourdais is out in front. Controversy on pit road. Did Alex Tagliani stop when he needed to?
Well, he stopped when he had to. He just paid a stop-and-go penalty in the pit, and this does go back to when he stayed out to lap number 38. He thought he was answering a yellow flag and staying out because the pits were closed. It seemed as though that inclination of the team was going to stand. Then Champ Car decided that that was a violation, and they hauled him from the top 5 into the pits for that stop and go. As you can see, Paul Gentilozzi has not concluded his commentary on this situation.
El Tagliani loses 2 laps and shuffles back to 13th with that stop and go penalty. Got a glimpse there of race leader Sebastian Bourdais as we watch Tagliani and the Johnson Controls car back on the racetrack. Ryan Hunter-Reay right with Bourdais, but Hunter-Reay is not on the lead lap. Remember now, he's 17th, 2 laps down. So Hunter-Reay trying to get around Bourdais, get 1 lap back, catch a caution, get to the tail end, and be in position to contend here.
He might actually, I mean, he's worried when you have a car running that close, but he might actually be helping Bourdais break away from Jimmy Vasser.
Vasser now moving to second by Rodolfo Levine. As we ride with Jimmy, you can see Levine back there in the Corona beer car. Vasser on board the PKV Gulfstream Lola, the 12, qualified second. Levine washes up high coming off turn 4. Vasser able to tuck that car down on the white line.
And Allmendinger takes advantage of Levine going up the track.
Allmendinger marching toward the front. He's third now in the Western Union number 10. Moving by Levine.
Allmendinger, I remember after qualifying in Milwaukee, he was really hard on himself, saying the driver's not getting everything out of this car. He's white-knuckling it. Basically, he was saying he was scared. In the race, things came good. He had a really good setup on the Rousport car, ended up finishing in the top 5, I believe his first top 5 of the year. Kit comes here and in practice saying, man, you know, I don't really like these ovals. I don't feel comfortable. Again, spooked. But the race time, whatever combination of what they told him and what they were able to put underneath him in the car, here's a guy, a rookie. I don't blame him for being scared. These things are humming around here, and he's honest about it. But here he is. Race time comes, the adrenaline gets flowing, and that talent comes to the fore. And look at him closing on Jimmy Vasser.
Allmendinger qualified 7th. He's rolled to 3rd. Your Ford telemetry, almost 12,000 RPM. 203 miles an hour, and Levine hanging on for dear life. That car's pushing out of the corners. One of the things we talked about tonight, tire wear. And the tires that the NASCAR trucks used earlier, would that cause a problem? Let's get an update. Our Bridgestone passion for excellence, Jan Bikas.
Well, we'll ask Bridgestone and find out the question, but certainly there was a lot of talk about the 2 different tire compounds, 2 different manufacturers, with Joe Barbieri from Bridgestone taking a look at a tire that just came off of a car. Behind us, Rodolfo Levine will make a pit stop, but let's take a look at this. It doesn't look too bad.
No, not at all. Through the warm-up session, they thought it might not be a problem. I've checked up and down the line with our engineers, and it's true. This is not a problem at all, so as expected.
A little bit of pickup here, but talking about pickup, the pickup on the racetrack as far as the competition at the front, as the title sponsor, you got to be thrilled with the way this thing is working out.
Absolutely. The speeds these guys will be able to go out there. The fans came out by the thousands. The paddock is full of enthusiastic fans, so we couldn't be happier to sponsor this thing. Bridgestone's extremely pleased with how things have worked out.
Well, with all the concerns about the different types of rubber and so on, turns out they were not well-founded. Everything worked great, and these guys are very, very pleased, and we'll wait for this pit stop right behind us for Levine.
Several cars headed to pit road because we've reached the pit window again. Lap 73 on the board. Here comes Bourdais leading the pack down. Jimmy Vasser, A.J. Allmendinger, Rodolfo Levine, Bruno Junqueira, the first 5. Crews over the wall signaling their drivers. Let's see if Bourdais knocks off a better stop this time. Jimmy Vasser restarted 7th the last time and came off, comes to pit road in 2nd spot. Still fueling the McDonald's number 2 for the Newman Haas team. Bruce Willis helping watch the team in action here tonight.
Stays away, and wow, what a scramble leaving pit road. Amazing what we saw here for the 2 Newman Haas cars. A very, very quick stop for Bruno Junqueira, 9.2 seconds. Now is the time in the race where you might consider trying to pick up track position and not fill the car all the way with fuel. Some really great performances here up and down pit road. With the competition so fast on the racetrack, these crews are pumped.
9 laps short of halfway. Everybody's pumped. The fans have been on their feet much of the night here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's been a great show so far, as we look forward to more, getting ready to get down to the final half of this action tonight. So Bourdais on the racetrack. Oriol Serbia back on the lead lap and being shown as the leader now. His pit stop cycle's a little different here tonight. Incredibly tight action at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Sebastian Bourdais has a 4-second lead over this pack. But the race is for second spot. Here comes Junqueira. He's going to go to the outside of Vassar. You're riding with Levine. He wants to get up alongside Allmendinger and battle for fourth.
Oh, and Allmendinger started to come up. I was a little surprised that Junqueira tried the outside of Vassar right away with Allmendinger right behind him, but Allmendinger wasn't able to close up on the back of Jimmy. So here goes Bruno.
To the high side through the trial. A.J. Allmendinger running a very, very heady race, Jan Beekes.
He is, and Tommy, when you saw him come up there coming into turn number 1, I believe that is what A.J. has been concerned about all weekend. When he's around other cars, he has a hard time holding it on the white line. He says, when someone comes around me on the outside, I have to lift because my car will not stay on the white line. He's afraid that if his car drifts up, he could touch somebody and have a big wreck. So at the moment, he knows that discretion is the better part of valor, and sometimes he has to lift to avoid contact.
Battling down into turn 1 again. They've taken the cross flags. A.J. Allmendinger, there's his progress through the field over the last 30 laps. From 8th to 5th since lap 53. Working lap 85, so just past halfway. We've had 5 lead changes and 5 different leaders so far. Some of that happening, though, on pit road. Here comes Mario Dominguez working on Carpentier. This is for 6th. Bourdais the leader, Junqueira second. Vassar now cycles back to 3rd. You might have seen Junqueira drive around Jimmy on the high side coming off turn 2 a couple of laps ago. Down into the 3rd corner. Dominguez right with him. They're 6th and 7th. Carpentier on the pole 1-2 weeks ago at Laguna Seca, trying to make a late season charge, get himself perhaps into championship contention.
Well, he's going to move into sole possession of 3rd place. He moved into a tie with Paul Tracy by getting the bonus point for pole. Tracy dropping out on the first lap. Regardless of where Carpentier finishes, he will finish in front of Tracy.
Champ Car officials assessing a stop-and-go penalty to Gaston Mazzacani, pitting outside the pit window. Mazzacani running 17th. Tracy out early. Broke something in the drivetrain of the 1 car. Not enough drive, no drive to both rear wheels, so he parked the 1 car right off the bat tonight. Jimmy Vassar started 2nd. Runs 3rd behind the Newman Haas mate. Let's take you for a lap full throttle around Las Vegas Motor Speedway with the 1996 Champ Car champion. Full throttle. We hear a lot of throttle action, Tommy. Not here.
Just you might as well Velcro it down.
First time for the Champ Car World Series to be on a banked super speedway since the Euro Speedway trip at the Lausitzring in Germany, and that was in May of 2003. Sebastian Bourdais was strong there, and he's strong here.
And when I talked about scrub earlier, comparing Tracy's car to Carpentier's car, you have things like caster split, toe in, all these different things affect how the car rolls through the corner. The cars should have been identical. What differences you'll see team to team is you've got stagger, which is the right rear tire being a little bit bigger than the inside rear tire, and that helps the car turn a little bit by itself. And so what you look for is almost for the car to be unloaded in the center of the corner. Then when you go down the straightaway, everything that's kind of pointed to help it go through the corner without any scrub, well, then actually it'll be scrubbing a little. You have to turn the wheel a little to the right to get it to go straight. You saw that in Jimmy's car. And so everybody has the different philosophies on how to do that. There's so many different minute adjustments, and the idea is to try to get the car to really track with the minimum amount of resistance.
There's Oriol Servia. Here comes race leader Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais started 3rd. He's got a 4-second lead, Jan Beekes.
And 4 seconds is like an eternity. And Tommy, you were talking about scrub in the corners. I said earlier that Bourdais' car was loose. They did not change the car in the first 2 pit stops. In fact, they say the track has come to them. They did not change it. Now the car is well balanced. If anything, has a little bit of push. So they waited for the track to come to them, and that's showing now for Bourdais.
Watching Vassar trying to hold off Rodolfo Levine. This is for 3rd spot. Levine Levine on the high side. Vassar holding his car down on the white line. Levine can get up there, but he can't get by.
Get about halfway up on the outside.
Vassar continues to run third. He's a second behind Bruno Junqueira, who runs second behind his teammate Sebastian Bourdais. Here's Levine to the high side again, diving down into one. Levine jumped to the outside, thought he had something to make a move on Vassar. Good run off turn two. Jimmy just able to tuck that car down low and stay there. This lets Carpentier get close. Carpentier's fifth. And here comes Dominguez, thinking about going three abreast there for a moment. Dominguez running a very high line as well. Now, if three cars bunch up on the outside, is that enough of a draft to get them all by Vassar?
It's possible, but actually when you see those two cars running side by side, you've got draft, you got air going over the top, you have air going around the sides of the car. The air going around the right side of Jimmy's car is colliding with the air coming around the left side of Rodolfo's car, and so it makes it a much more effective draft, which is why when they get side by side, the guys behind pull up much more dramatically than a single car draft.
Levine trying to work his way by Vassar to take over third spot. Here comes Carpentier, three wide into three. Carpentier gives a little bit of ground there. Just didn't quite want to take a shot. Now here he comes again through the tri-oval. Boy, Carpentier's got a strong car. Has to get out of it. Let Levine go. Extra margin of safety here in Vegas. The safer barriers are in place all the way around.
Levine finally clears Vassar.
So Levine to third. Vassar cycles back to fourth. Carpentier there in fifth. Carpentier wants to get by as well. A little further back, you've got Allmendinger, Dominguez, and Guy Smith battling. Great racing at Las Vegas. Watching Levine at work. Bourdais leads Junqueira. Levine here third. Carpentier and Vassar, the rest of the first five in the Bridgestone 400. Lapping by Serbia there on the OakTV.com, number 11. Tagliani, after that penalty, 2 laps down, is back in 13th spot. Nelson Philippe up to 10th as we show you the running order top of the screen. It's a good day for the other MyJack car. Justin Wilson 9th, his teammate Philippe in 10th. And the battle rages on for third spot. Levine has shown flashes this year. At Milwaukee, the only other oval on the tour, which is a flat racetrack, as we mentioned, he was running pretty well, whacked the wall late in the going. That Corona car. Several drivers had problems at Milwaukee. It was a cool night, flat racetrack, pretty slick. Marbles were a big factor there. Not the case here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Alex Tagliani, the Road America winner, 13th spot after a stop-and-go penalty. Well, Chris McClure, we heard what Paul Gentilozzi had to say earlier about the 8 car and their problems tonight. What are the Champ Car officials saying?
Champ Car officials do admit that normally in that kind of a situation, the pits would be closed. But the fact of the matter is that the flag had not yet gone up. Then they ruled, subsequent to that judgment, that Tagliani had an opportunity to get into the pits successfully and did not take it. Therefore, violation, therefore, penalty. Paul Gentilozzi, talking to his driver in the last few laps, has simply said, this is not the result of anything that we did wrong. But that's as far as he'll go. He just wants Tag to go racing, try and forget it.
Well, the laps, I hate to say it, are starting to wind down. Less than 60 to go here tonight. And they're knocking them off quickly at 26 seconds a lap. That battle for third continues to rage. Levine in the 3 car, the Forsyth Corona Beard car, runs third, Carpentier fourth. Let's recap how we've gotten to this point tonight with 56 laps to go. Series champ Paul Tracy, 2 wins on the season. Tracy, with drivetrain problems right from the get-go. They changed the tires, looked at the car, something broken in the gearbox in the rear end. Tracy done for the night early here at what is essentially a hometown race for him. 6 laps in, Bruno Junqueira rolled by the pole sitter, Pat Carpentier. Junqueira took the point, Bourdais in tow. 36 laps on the board. Coming to pit road, Ryan Hunter-Reay, maybe some contact, maybe not. We don't really know, but he spun, and that brought out a yellow. Lap 58. Watching Bourdais to the high side. Alex Tagliani had been the leader. There was a situation on pit road that we just talked about a moment ago. Rocket Sports and Johnson Controls, the team thought that Tagliani had pitted when he was supposed to. Champ Car said no. And on lap 61, Tagliani came for the stop-and-go penalty, which cost him 2 laps at this very rapid race pace. Engineer Brian Ma arguing with the Champ Car officials about the call. Pit stops upcoming. We're at the fuel window again, Jan Bikus.
We are, and watch the front wings for Sebastian Bourdais. He said his car has a little bit too much push, and there it was, only a half a turn. AJ Allmendinger comes in, and behind we're watching Junqueira. So far good, 11.6 seconds for Bourdais. There goes his teammate, and Allmendinger still on pit road, so it does not appear as though any position changes, but some very tight battles maybe pit road.
Oh! Allmendinger almost loses it trying to get off pit road and maintain his position. That's as close as we've seen anyone come to spinning on pit road in a long time.
We have cold tires in the stagger, with the right rear tire being a little bit bigger than the left rear. Puts a rotational moment into the car. The car actually doesn't want to burn out straight. It wants to burn out a little bit to the left. And I think he's hooking around this guy who's waving a car coming in.
Allmendinger, right side of your screen, the yellow and black car. Just got out of the gas and saved it. It sent him across the street to the strip here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway and competed in an NHRA event. That's kind of launch skills are in demand over there. So Allmendinger now behind Jimmy Vasser. They run 6th and 7th. 53 to go tonight here at Las Vegas. Allmendinger up high. Vasser at the bottom. Talked to Jimmy before the race tonight. He said, you know, as well as we qualified, I don't really like the car. It doesn't feel real racy to me. And he's had moments where he's been up in the top 3, run second a couple of times after pit stops, but just hasn't been a contender here tonight. Able to get the measure of Allmendinger and sit in 6th spot right now is Vasser. Coming up on the slower car of Gaston Mazzacani, who's 17th. Mazzacani, the American Medical Resources 19 for the Dale Coyne team. Gulfstream Lola for Vasser out of the PKV shops. Allmendinger in the Western Union 10, meantime, still trying to find a way around Vasser. Points as they run at the top of your screen, along with the running order. Bourdais, the championship leader, looking to add to the margin. A 3.4-second lead right now over his teammate Junqueira. Mario Dominguez with a good run. He's come to 3rd. 50 to go at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Alongside Tommy Kendall, I'm Rick Benjamin. Race 12 of the Champ Car World Series season here in 2004. 2 rounds remain in the championship. A couple of weeks from now, we'll be at Surfers Paradise in Australia for the Lexmark Indy 300. And then the final race of the season, November 7th at Mexico City to wrap things up. And Bourdais with a threat right now because Junqueira only 24 points behind coming in here with 3 races to go. Bourdais doing everything he can to add to the lead. If he can post a victory here tonight, it would be his 6th of the season. On the backstretch, Allmendinger and Justin Wilson side by side for 7th. They're right behind Jimmy Vasser. Chris McClure, what's Vasser saying about the race car?
He's saying it's just fine. He's pretty happy with it. That dice a little while ago got everybody here very, very interested and excited. Of course, he came off the front row. The last pit stop, perfectly routine. The tires and fuel went in. There were no adjustments on the car. He's quite content at this moment, though he's going to have to start making some moves fairly soon, and they know it. Jan?
An update for Patrick Carpentier. He lost a little bit of time on that pit stop, but not in the pits. It turns out they have a gearbox problem to where it takes him a long time to get up to speed. Sounds like they're missing some of their intermediate gears. So even though they're very pit stops, they're losing a lot of time getting back up to speed. Nothing they can do about that at this point.
Battling here 6th, 7th, and 8th. A.J. Allmendinger just nosing around Justin Wilson in the MyJack Conquest 34. They pick off 7th spot. We had talked earlier, Tom, about how Justin Wilson's year started off so well. He struggled so much in recent weeks. They wrecked on lap 1 at Laguna Seca. Didn't qualify well. He's raced himself up into the top 10 here.
And I was going to say, where did Justin Wilson come from? He got around Allmendinger briefly, and that was kind of I don't want to say it was a mistake, but a rookie. I think he won't do that again, where he was working on Vassar, but he left the bottom open, and we've seen the bottom is the short way around. So while he's working on Vassar next time, if he's able to get around Allmendinger, he's got to protect the bottom side of the racetrack and make sure if he goes up top to get around Vassar, he gets back down before Allmendinger sneaks back up in there.
Watching the race for third, Mario Dominguez on the outside of Alex Tagliani. This is not for position with Tagliani. Tag shown back in 13th, 2 laps down after the penalty. Levine, meantime, is 4th in the Corona Beer number 3. Up behind the car of Mario Dominguez, the Urdez 55. Carpentier getting himself into the mix. The pole sitter in 5th position. After Carpentier gave up the lead, it has not been a good night for Pat, but here he is again, right behind his teammate Levine. Coming up on the lap car, Mario Hopperfeld. He's 16th. Hard to mask the Reynard shortcomings here at a fast oval.
Haberfeld's been more than happy to wring the neck of that Reynard on the road courses, but I think not being an oval track guy, and all he's ever seen him in is the Reynard, it'd be hard to really push yourself, because you're like, okay, I'm out of my element, I'm on the ovals in a car that's not very competitive. It'd be hard to work yourself into shape in that situation where you're kind of lost at sea. You have no reference point. Am I doing as well as a Reynard can do here? Am I doing better than a Reynard anybody else can do it? It's really hard to get your bearings, and he probably just happy to get through this one.
Tip of the helmet to Mario Dominguez, by the way, 3rd in the 55 car. Started 9th. He's gained 6 spots. He has been the big mover here so far tonight. Bourdais started 3rd. He's come to 1st. And Junqueira started 4th. He is 2nd. So among the top runners, by far, it's been Dominguez gaining the most ground. Guy Smith had a good night going. He was up in the top 10. New sponsorship from Microchip on the side of the car, but he throws the wheel. Caution is out. Looks as though he's cooked a motor.
A very good run for Guy Smith.
Pits are closed right now. Takes the headrest out as he tries to get unbuckled, get the Hans device out. Smoke rising out of the side pod there, usually an indication that something has been cooked back in the motor compartment. 3rd DNF of the season tonight for Guy Smith as yellow falls here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Yellow flag waving. It is our 2nd caution of the night. And the Champ Car safety crew right on the scene to help Guy get untethered from the race car. I want to ask you a moment to tell me about tire stagger. You've been talking about that. Now, normally when we hear about radials in oval track racing, they say, well, there's no stagger. How do you achieve that here?
There's no growth. The stagger will be whatever it is set in the mold. Stagger refers to difference in circumference. What they used to before radials, to create the stagger you wanted, you just pumped them up more or less and the tire would grow. A radial is so strong, its molded size will be its side regardless of the pressure. So even if you have 10 pounds or 30 pounds, it's going to measure the same. So you used to be able to adjust the stagger on any set of tires. Now it's a preset stagger. Bridgestone chooses what they want as the optimal stagger, and that's what it is for the weekend for everyone.
And that does help these cars turn on a high-banked oval. So Guy Smith done for the night, Chris McClure.
He is indeed. I wonder, Rob Hill, was there any forewarning if something was going wrong?
Nothing at all. Everything looked really good. The car was actually coming to us. The track was coming to us. He was doing a great job improving everything, and out of nowhere, it just let go. So.
Well, he's getting the car under him, and he was having a heck of a run out here for an oval test, something he's not familiar with.
Oh, yeah, he's a phenomenal driver. I mean, he's very, very talented, and he's adapted well to this. We were looking forward to this race. We tested here. We had a good test, and, it's an unfortunate thing.
Sorry to see this turn of events.
Sorry, too.
40 laps to go tonight under caution as they remove the 17 of Guy Smith. The Rocket Sports team, Bourdais, Junqueira, and Dominguez. Levine and Carpentier, your top 5. Guy Smith taking the long walk back to the garage area here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Second half of a doubleheader the NASCAR Craftsman Trucks ran earlier tonight. Full house of fans enjoying the Champ Car World Series. And with the yellow out, Jan Bikas were more than 37 laps from the end. What's the pit stops call here?
you will see a few cars on pit road, but the leader is going to wait about one more lap. Mario Dominguez on pit road at this time, but 129 is when the window opens for your final stop to go 37, the maximum number of laps you can go. They desperately want to make a pit stop, the leaders do, under yellow. So wouldn't you know, they asked the Champ Car officials, I think you really need to check the racetrack to be sure that Guy Smith doesn't have any oil on the racetrack. Check it really carefully. I think it takes another lap or two, then they can pit under yellow and hit the window.
Now, was that a mistake by the Urdez team to bring Dominguez in? He's got to stop again.
He does have to stop again. It's a curious move. Obviously, if it stays yellow until 129, like Jan was talking, then everybody else will come in. He'll have to come in again, and he'll be way behind the queue. For a car that far up in the line, it's a little bit of a curious move.
Dominguez, a good driver, a very good driver, and he's particularly good on ovals. Had that great run at the Euro Speedway last year, and certainly seemed to be a contender here tonight with the car up in third spot. But they bring him to pit road under caution, and he will, by rule, have to make one more stop because you can run only 37 laps before you make a pit stop. He's right behind his teammate, Ryan Hunter-Reay, who had that spin on the entrance road to the pit area earlier. Hunter-Reay back 14th, 2 laps down. So we reset. It is coming up on lap 129. They're working lap 129. Race leader Sebastian Bourdais.
He'll pit this lap.
Yeah, Bruno Junqueira right behind him. They're below the blend line, so they're headed to pit road.
See, now Dominguez has to stop again to reset his window to make it to the end. So, but he's stopping from the tail end of the pack. So he's kind of locked himself into the back. I think, I wonder if they did their math wrong.
So he will come in now anyway.
Yeah, he'll have to come in again now or he'd be stopping on the last lap.
And you have to stop before the white flag. A look at the Newman-Haas pit box. Carl Haas, Paul Newman, and a special guest, Bruce Willis, here watching the action tonight. Here comes the race leader, Jan Beekes.
And Bruce Willis may be a good luck charm for the McDonald's driver, Sebastian Bourdais. Remember, they won't need very much fuel, so this should be really, really quick. That was a fast one. 7.2 seconds, and right behind him is his teammate. That's as close as it gets. Chris?
Mario Dominguez came back in. He's now in sequence. He's good to go to the end. He only got tires on this pit stop. No fuel. That had already been done. He's back out, and he did it in a hurry.
Everybody lined up nose to tail as they come off pit road. Let's see how it sets. Oriol Servia back in 14th spot, 2 laps down. Bourdais away first. Junqueira will line up second. Levine, Carpentier, and Allmendinger. Justin Wilson up to 6th ahead of Vassar, Philippe Dominguez, and Jourdain. Take a look back. The Newman-Haas team. Paul Newman pretty darn happy at how that stop went. Carl Haas, I don't think ever cracks a smile, does he?
Rarely.
Certainly enjoying seeing his team run 1-2, though, at the moment as we get down to the final 36 laps here tonight at Las Vegas. There's Tagliani in front of Junqueira. Tagliani 13th on the board. Picked up a lap evidently in that pit stop cycle, so he's being shown 1 lap down. 9 cars left on the lead lap. Dominguez would be the last of the 9. So it's Bourdais, Junqueira, Levine, Carpentier, and Justin Wilson, the first 5. Then Vassar, Allmendinger. How about Nelson Philippe up to 8th ahead of Dominguez? A reminder, all the information you need about the Champ Car World Series 24/7. Our website is champcarworldseries.com. Sign up for Race Director. It gets you just inside everything that goes on at the racetrack. 6 extra cameras, 18 pit-to-car radios, and a chance to join the Inner Circle fan club as well for the rest of 2004. Ticket discounts on the last couple of races this season. The exclusive members cap, discounts and giveaways on merchandise, and much, much more. Check it out, champcarworldseries.com. Full house of fans here tonight enjoying night racing under the lights at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. They packed the house here tonight. And the Agante car, the 9, the Rousport machine from Michel Jourdain Jr., headed to pit road. Late in the window, late in the caution. Then we'll put tires on. Jourdain 11th, a lap down, so not a lot to lose at this stage of the game. They'll have a little bit fresher rubber for the run to the checkered flag. 35 laps to go this time around. Working lap 132. 2 races to go in the season after tonight's event here at Vegas. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Tommy Kendall, Ibrecht Benjamin, Jan Vikas, Chris McClure on pit road for us tonight. Third caution of the night. Guy Smith exploded a moments ago, wrapping up a very good night for him. But as we look at the leaderboard, Tom, Nelson Philippe unheralded here, 8th spot for the MyJack team. Not a bad night at all.
Not a bad job at all. But my attention is up front. We saw after the last two stops, Junqueira was able to nibble away at Bourdais' lead. You've got the two guys that have everything going. All the marbles championship-wise are between these two guys. Bruno really needs to finish in front of Sebastian. Might have the quicker car. This is going to be a bit of a shootout, I think, for these cats. No more pit stops.
Junqueira did lead laps earlier tonight, remember?
We saw him able to work around the outside of a string of cars to get into second spot.
Roberto Gonzalez back there, the second of the PKB cars, the NII Holdings machine.
I think Bruno has a run on him.
Getting ready for a restart.
Bruno
Alex
definitely
Tagliani
has a run on
stops
him.
for tires. Green flag in the air to begin lap 133. Bourdais and Junqueira 1-2. We're back underway at Las Vegas. Levine is third. Here comes Junqueira to the high side of his teammate. Bourdais right on the white line on the backstretch. As Tommy pointed out earlier with this aero package, no need to let the car walk up the racetrack coming off turn 2 to be fast. Was that smoke out of the back of the 2 car?
Just they're blowing dust up, pulling dust up. They're running down so low on the exit. All the Craftsman trucks were drifting up wide, so that's a dirty part of the racetrack.
Bourdais able to still keep Junqueira in his mirrors. The gap less than 2/10. Coming up 30 laps to go momentarily. Your Bridgestone running order top of the screen, along with how the points would shake out if they finish in this order.
Not only do you not have to drift up, if you drift up, it could cost you the race. That's exactly what happened early on. Carpentier let his car up a little bit. Bruno snuck underneath him. That's the one thing Sebastian Bourdais cannot do, is let his car up off the white line on the exit when you naturally would let the car run. Or Bruno will get down underneath him, and we've seen if he can get a nose under him and Sebastian can't come back down, that short way around will eventually put Bruno in front.
How about this? Justin Wilson in the MyJack 34 up to 4th. Pole sitter Pat Carpentier right with him there in 5th. They go around Gonzalez, who's a lapped car. 6th belongs to Mario Dominguez. Remember, he restarted 9th after 2 stops during the caution. Dominguez is on the move, too.
Look at that scramble.
Great battle for position here in Las Vegas. Vassar back there in 7th. Allmendinger is 8th in the yellow car, the Western Union machine. Here comes Dominguez. Up front, Junqueira takes a look on Bourdais. Bourdais in the McDonald's 2 car. Junqueira in the number 6, the Pacific Air machine. The battle for 3rd, Levine trying to hang on. He's got Wilson and Carpentier in his wake. Junqueira tries the high side for the lead at Vegas. Can't get a run on him in the tryover.
And this is where this aero package is a little frustrating for a guy like Bruno, who's really worked hard at honing his oval racecraft. Sat on the pole at Indy a few years ago, has won races, I believe, Japan a couple years ago. But he's not able to put that experience to any effect. You see Bourdais, who doesn't run particularly well at Milwaukee. You got Justin Wilson, who crashed on the first lap at Milwaukee. All of a sudden, these guys can hold it down flat out. The experience that Bruno has is not able to translate into a measurable advantage. Sebastian won his first oval race at the last time we raced at a track like this at Euro Speedway, and it's really much more setup dependent. He was very candid about it when he came here. He says, you know, it's not up to me. It's the job the team does. Anybody can hold it flat out around here, and it's really down to the team, and the team has done a brilliant job. Look at Newman Haas up there 1-2, marching away from the rest of the field.
And they've got a 2-second lead over Rodolfo Levine and the pack of cars behind him as they battle for 3rd. But I'm really impressed with what Justin Wilson has put together here tonight. Obviously not the fastest race car in the place this weekend. He has patiently picked them off one at a time. And here he is holding off the pole sitter for 4th. Mario Dominguez right there as well in 6th position. 25 to go here at Las Vegas. Here's Allmendinger running 8th. Nelson Philippe back in 9th. Talking earlier about Mario Dominguez as he is back there in 6th position. Chris McClure, did they make a mistake on their pit stop call?
Shall I say yes at the front of the reporter at the end? Yes, they did. They brought him in too early. As I came into the pit, I said, don't you have to stop again? And they looked at me like, yeah. And then they did stop again, and then they clammed up for a while, but have since turned around and said, we made an error. They have some very long faces in the pit.
Well, Dominguez was up in before that happened under the caution. Up front, it's still Bourdais by less than a tenth over Junqueira last time by. Carpentier trying to get around Wilson. This, though, the battle for the lead down in 1. Coming up on 20 laps to go. Nobody sitting here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's an old joke, but a good one. They bought the seats. They're not using them here tonight.
There's a lap car up ahead. This could be the one variable that whoever, if they catch it at the same time and it doesn't slow one or the other down, but if Bruno can make Sebastian commit, if Sebastian has to commit to the high side and Bruno can use that to get underneath him, this lap car could play into the equation here.
16 cars remain in competition. Paul Tracy, Guy Smith done for the night. Flat out all the way around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Right now, if they finish in this order, Bourdais would build his lead back to 27 over Junqueira. Carpentier would be 70 back with 2 races to go, effectively out of the championship.
That lap car is Alex Tagliani.
Bourdais in the McDonald's #2 has led since lap 79 with 20 to go. Junqueira in the Pacific Care #6 has run in his wake. He pulls up alongside. Junqueira trying to get a run through the tri-oval on his teammate.
He's got one.
For the lead, Newman Haas. The 2 team cars are side by side. A little further back for 3rd spot, Rodolfo Levine battling with Carpentier. Junqueira with the advantage by a wheel heading down into 3. Junqueira and Bourdais. Remember the bad blood between these two earlier in the summer. Ever so close.
Which car is going to get a draft from Tagliani now?
That's Tagliani in the Johnson Controls car up ahead. Less than 12 at Vegas.
Junqueira.
He's got the edge by a whisker. Tagliani's up ahead. Not nearly as quick as the 2 leaders.
And he's staying high. He's going to help Bruno out here.
Or does he pick Bruno off? Does he leave the bottom open for Bourdais? There's another car in the mix as well. It's Mazzacani. Junqueira balked by Tagliani. Bourdais threads the needle. Hangs on to the point. Wow, did that cost Bruno?
Big time.
Now he's lost the draft. Did he have to lift there?
Yeah, I don't. Well, he obviously felt he did. I thought it was going to work out in his favor.
Meantime, the battle for 3rd. Levine hangs on to the spot. Check that. Carpentier has gotten by Levine for 3rd. Dominguez and Vassar right there. Vassar has moved up now. He's up into 5th. Dominguez back to 6th. Allmendinger is 7th. Wilson's gotten shuffled all the way back to 8th. So the battling for 3rd through 8th has been equally intense with 15 to go. This is Levine with Vassar as they battle for 4th. Let's take one more look at the battle for the lead. Bourdais on the bottom. Junqueira balked by the lap car of Tagliani. Moving around Mazzacani as well. One more look at it.
And Bruno.
Looks like he didn't know which way to go.
Oh, he was Tagliani. I don't know if Tagliani lifted and he had to lift because all of a sudden Bourdais was able to squirt past all of them.
The gap now, Bourdais leads Junqueira by 1700ths. Now that's just an eye blink, but on the racetrack at these speeds, it's several car lengths. As we watch Levine and Dominguez for fourth spot. Up front, Bruno has caught up to Bourdais.
This is shades of Euro Speedway. The guy that came out on top that day was Sebastian Bourdais, his first ever oval race, and he learned early on, keep it pinned to the white line. In that case, it was Mario Dominguez who could get all the way up on the outside of him, but not quite clear of him.
Now, the last time they did this a few laps ago, Junqueira was able to inch ahead. He wasn't able to close the deal and pull in front of Bourdais.
And one thing that happened that enabled Bruno to get up there, Sebastian got a little bit too low and actually got down, not just under the white line, but on the apron, and his car wiggled a little bit. I think that was just enough scrub to give Bruno, an extra car length. Now we've got another lap car they're approaching.
Coming up, 10 laps to go. This time by, there'll be 10 to go. Jan Beek, it's time to push all your chips to the center of the table.
Oh, yes, and lap traffic may play a part on that last exchange with Alex Tagliani. The engineer for Sebastian Bourdais, Craig Hampson, before that happened, had run down and had a conversation with Tagliani's team. Guess where he is right now? Herdez. He ran up and wanted to talk to Ryan Hunter-Reay's crew. That is the next car that they will find. They're looking for help to see if they can get help like they did with Tagliani.
Well, Bruno may not need any help. He's powering to the outside of Bourdais for the lead to the tri-oval. 9 to go.
And one thing that Bruno's doing well is he's trying to pin Sebastian on the bottom. See how close he's running to him? He's trying to make it so Sebastian has to lift.
They almost touched the last time they ran wheel to wheel. Ryan Hunter-Reay is up in front of this battle.
It's a high-stakes game, but he's trying to get Bourdais to have to lift by pinning him down against the bottom, not giving him any more room than he has to.
It gets no better than this in racing. Sebastian Bourdais has led since lap 79. His teammate Bruno Junqueira. They're 1-2 in the championship. Junqueira wants his second win of the season. Bourdais wants his first oval win of 2004, his sixth of this year.
This says that Bruno has the fastest car. He's able to stay alongside him even though he's covering more distance around the outside.
Well, and he tracked Bourdais down. I mean, he gave up 5 car lengths at least in that lap traffic a few moments ago, and he was able to catch right back up to Bourdais.
Now the thing to look for is as they seesaw back and forth, who's ahead at the stripe. Last lap, they scored Bruno ahead at the stripe. Bruno was the leader at the stripe last time by.
Here they come to the line one more time, 6 to go. Bourdais.
That time Bourdais by 2 1/1000ths.
Taking a look at the Newman Haas scoring stand. Carl Haas, Paul, some friends, and Bruce Wilson.
The guy to the Bruce Willis to the left. The guy to the right is Stan Barrett, the guy who went over 700 miles an hour in the Budweiser rocket car that Newman helped put this Budweiser sponsorship on way back when.
The original Skull Bandit. Junqueira by a winglet that time. Bourdais scored second last time by 5 laps to go at Vegas. 5 to go.
Who's your money on, Rick?
I like Junqueira.
I do too.
But it's Bourdais by a wheel as they power out of 4. Now, does Bruno lay back and wait till the last lap?
I don't think you can afford to lay back. It's not like a slingshot thing, so you need to stay there and hopefully, again, keep him pinned to the bottom and then hope that you can make something happen with one of these lap cars.
In the gambling capital of these United States, both these drivers had 4-to-1 odds posted on them earlier today. Here comes Junqueira again. 3 to go this time by. They come to the stripe. It's Junqueira by a winglet that time.
How about a nod to the McDonald team having to change engines on that car right before the race. Second time this weekend.
Unbelievable battling. It's been this way for 20 laps. Here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, they've been side by side. They'll get the 2 to go this time by. Lap traffic drawing closer. Bruno Junqueira in the Pacific Air car. Sebastian Bourdais on the McDonald's machine.
That time it was Bourdais by 5 1/1000ths.
And Mario Haberfeld is on the bottom of the racetrack directly ahead. Lap traffic last. Oh, and Bourdais with a bold move to the outside. Forces Bruno out of it. White flag this time by. Was that a championship move?
It was a race winning move.
Here comes Bruno. They get the white flag. 2 lap cars are up in front. Both these drivers holding it to the mat. Bourdais by a car. Junqueira. Bourdais may be stuck on the bottom. Third turn, last time around at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Junqueira may not get there. Bourdais the leader. They come to the line. It's Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais the winner. Junqueira runs second. Carpentier didn't even get a chance to see him climb all the way to third. Levine, his teammate, is fourth. And Jimmy Vasser rounds out the top 5.
I think Bourdais might have given Bruno a little half a slide job there in the middle of 3 and 4. Just let the car up a little bit. So be interesting to see what Bruno says afterwards.
Just enough to slow his momentum in that drive off the corner.
Exactly.
Sebastian Bourdais saluting the huge crowd tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Fist in the air. You know, at the start of the season, I didn't know him very well, Tommy. I thought he wasn't very emotional. He really is, and it's one of the things that makes him a champion.
Yeah, he keeps it pretty bottled up, which is why we didn't think he was emotional. Really pretty good control over the emotions. But there's a lot going on percolating inside that kid.
Fireworks here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Bruno Junqueira finishes second here again tonight. Brings his car to the stop on pit road. And Sebastian Bourdais heads to victory lane. 4th 1-2 for this team of 2004 as we watch the reaction of the car owners, Carl Haas and Paul Newman. Coverage today of the Champ Car World Series on Spike has been brought to you by Bridgestone Tires, a passion for excellence. By the Ford Expedition, capability without compromise. Goes to victory lane. And by Corona, miles away from ordinary. Kick back, relax, enjoy a Corona today. A great run to victory here tonight. In victory lane with our winner, Sebastian Bourdais, down to Jan Beekes.
With an ecstatic McDonald's crew, Sebastian Bourdais, what a fantastic run. I know that you were nervous. The crew is excited not just for the win, but the fact that the engine held together. For you, that must have been a concern at the beginning.
Yeah, we lost 2 Cosworth engines, and we were really worried about that. We had no idea what the new engine we put in the car after the warm-up was going to be, and it was obviously a bit slower than Bruno, but we made it stick at the inside, and we won this race, so I'm just so happy for this McDonald's crew that worked so hard.
The odds makers chose co-favorites, you and Bruno. Obviously, they knew what they were talking about. Those cars couldn't have been closer. How tight were you guys in the last couple corners, and did you drift up a little bit in turn 3?
No, I don't know. I was trying basically to get the toe of the guys that were in front, because that was the key of the race, and I had the inside line, but I had to follow the fastest way around, and Bruno had to go around me, so I don't know how close he was, but he was really close to me, and that was even scary sometimes.
You had some reservations about the wing package, about racing here. What do you think now after that dramatic finish?
I don't know. You tell your opinion.
That was fantastic. Congratulations, Sebastian.
As the fireworks display continues at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Bourdais accepting the congratulations in victory lane. The thrill of victory. How about this for the agony of defeat? Let's take a look back a moment ago at Bruno Junqueira's reaction as he came to a stop with the podium ceremonies. Today continuing to receive congratulations from the McDonald's crew. As the Bridgestone 400 comes to a close tonight here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Bruno unbuckling through the wheel. This is a few moments ago. Thought he had it. Just denied at the stripe. His crew came over to talk to him and say, hey, you gave it everything you had, nothing you could do. He led several laps late in the going. But lap traffic, a factor, no doubt.
He's upset of one of 2 things. Either that move around the lap car when Sebastian popped through the gap, or if he slid up at 3 and 4.
He knows he had a shot at victory. Chris McClure, disappointed, I'm sure, to run second.
Very, very disappointed. Still a bit grim-faced. A terrific race right to the very end, Bruno. You got out of the car visibly upset. What's the source of that? Was it the close racing? You moved up the track a little bit? Where'd it come from?
No, I was leading the race, no problem, and they put me back after the first pit stop, and just from there, I just couldn't win the race anymore.
From the very beginning, you were angry about something early in the race?
No, I was okay. I was leading the race, but then for some reason, I don't know why, after the first pit stop, they put me back, and then I have to have my way through the field, but finish second.
Tell us about the dice at the end. That was a terrific last 20-lap run, one of the best we've seen in years and years, and you were a part of it.
Yeah, I think that's okay. I mean, there is no way you can pass. You know, I was flat and trying to draft, and this is actually very dangerous. It's very exciting for the fans, but I mean, it's flat all the way around. Then their package didn't help us.
Congratulations, second place. That's not to be sneezed at.
Okay.
So you can hear the disappointment in Bruno Junqueira's voice. Loses ground in the championship battle. The race winner, Sebastian Bourdais. Victory lane ceremonies at Las Vegas.
Take some tips from the experts of CS.
Books tonight, the 12th race of 2004. Let's hear from the driver who's now got 3 consecutive podiums. He's with Chris McClure.
The mention upstairs, 3 consecutive podiums, and you've had all smiles since you got out of that car.
No, I'm very happy we got some points, and we're clear in 3rd place now, so it's pretty good. But a bit disappointing because we had a very fast car today, and I don't know if it was the fastest, but I think it was faster than what we did. We had a little issue with the gearbox. The gears were reversed, so I couldn't use the gears. I only had 6 gears, that 6th gear that I could use, and lost a bit of time with that. Every restart, they pulled away, and that's how they got away from me. So it's a bit unfortunate, but I guess it's racing. It's mechanical.
And it was a joy to watch. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Always smiling, Patrick Carpentier, the winner at Laguna Seca, comes home 3rd here tonight. Let's take a look at how they came across the line. Bourdais and Junqueira, a battle that'll be long remembered between those two. Carpentier and Levine was in the thick of it all night. Dominguez 7th. He was up as high as 3rd.
And that was, they just miscalled it on that last stop. They stopped him 2 laps early. Had to come in again and lost a lot of track position.
Justin Wilson was up to 4th, but just couldn't quite hang on. Good run, top 10 for Nelson Felipe. Take a look at the standings with 2 rounds to go in the championship. Bourdais builds that lead to 27 over Junqueira. Carpentier solidly in 3rd now because Tracy had those problems on lap 1.
Yeah, and a horrible weekend through and through for Paul Tracy. Probably a fitting end to it. Really just a non-factor.
Alex Tagliani currently 5th in the standings. So, 2 races to go in the championship. That concludes our coverage tonight of the Bridgestone 400 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Be sure and join us Sunday, October 24th. The Champ Car World Series visits Surfers Paradise in Queensland, Australia for the Lexmark Indy 300. For Jan Beekes and Chris McClure, Tommy Kendall, I'm Rick Benjamin. Thanks for joining us tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and thanks for watching. We congratulate Sebastian Bourdais. So long from Las Vegas.
Here's one thing I know for sure. Sunday is the title